Hello, my name is Mike,
My name is Vic.
and you are watching
Met
Met in
in
Florida.
Florida.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's
Good.
Met victory. It's a good day.
Yeah, it's a great way to start. We're on a little bit of a winning, we have some winning vibes again, so that's good. Yeah,
Let's let
so I
everybody
guess,
know why we decided to start this.
yeah, absolutely. This is video number one, right? So we
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
explain ourselves.
Well, it's called Met in Florida because we met 20 years ago in spring training in Port St. Lucie.
That's right. 20 years ago, exactly, 2002.
Yeah, so what
So
a
it's kind
perfect
of
time.
ironic that we're starting this year.
And we have a great team to follow. So
Yeah, we do. We do.
That's good.
It's great. We
Yeah.
picked a good time to do this. Because
exactly.
as we know, 2002 was not such a great team. We thought it would be, but it wasn't.
It was. We were fooling
Right.
ourselves.
Yeah, but it's funny because it turned out when we met, even though we're both actually from Brooklyn, ironically,
Yeah,
but
we're
we
both
met
from Brooklyn.
here in Florida. And we kind of were talking about, how long we've been fans and everything. And how long have you been a fan of the Mets?
1975.
1975.
And what's your first year?
Well, technically birth, because my parents would have it no other way, because they had the Brooklyn Dodger roots. But I would say officially 88. 88. I kind of knew what was going on in 86, but I couldn't really comprehend it, appreciate it enough. 88 was when I really got a taste of it.
What made you a Met fan?
Well, again, here's the funny thing. My parents, of course, pretty much raised us as Met fans, my brother and me. But the funny thing was, at the time I became a Met fan, unlike you, they were really good. So I thought that was the norm. Then when I got that little taste of heartbreak at the end of 1988, I said, "Oh, this is what they deal with."
That's what
Which is ironic. Speaking of 1988, this is the first time since 1988 that we've been 20 games over 500 at this point in the season. This early
Really?
in the season.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Hopefully it'll end different.
My way of becoming a Met fan, I became a Met fan because of Tom Terrific.
Well, there you go.
But I know our fellow Met fans might not want to hear this, but the first game I ever went to was a Yankee game.
Okay.
My uncle took me to the Yankee game, and first ball game I ever went to. But it's funny, maybe something was telling me something inside that I didn't feel right at that stadium. Something felt off, and baseball was brand new to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was 10 years old, I think. It was brand new to me, but something didn't feel right about that stadium. One day, I'm flipping the channels. Now, the only team that I heard of at the time, because I was pretty much surrounded by Yankee fans in my neighborhood, that's the only team I heard of, the Yankees. I'm flipping around the channel and I see this guy striking everybody out. And I'm like, wow, this guy's really good. Then it's like, oh, they mentioned this is the New York Mets. And I was like, wow, I didn't know the Mets were part of New York. I was brand new to baseball.
Right.
So I start watching this game and I'm getting excited watching this game and this pitcher just being dominant. And this little second baseman, Felix Mion, who just had no power, but he just seemed to get hits every time.
Felix the Cat Mion, yeah.
Something about it just kind of clicked with me and I became a Met fan ever since. And the first ball game that I went to, my mom actually took me, and it was, I don't think they ever did it again, but it was photo day at Shea Stadium. And I got pictures with some of the Met greats, choking, Mickey Lolich, over the hill, Joe Torre.
Right.
Here's an old name, Leo Forster.
There you go.
Not many people know that name.
No, I barely know that name myself.
So that was my introduction to the Mets. And,
crazy.
Well,
it's funny because I knew, like I said, I felt like I was pretty much raised a Met fan because my grandparents had the Brooklyn Dodgers. So of course they would never switch sides. They stayed till when the Dodgers left, they waited for the Mets. My neighbors downstairs in my apartment building were diehard Met fans. And it's funny because like in 1986, not to get somber, but February of 86, my dad passed away. But so he didn't get to see that championship. He saw 69, obviously, but my mom made sure we continued. I have vague memories of watching the game with my dad, but I wasn't like enthralled into it. I was just kind of watching.
Right.
And then when they did win in 86, me and my brother were already sleeping when they won. My poor mom was in the living room by herself, sweating out that game 6.
Remember it
Of course,
well.
I really couldn't comprehend how the impact of what was happening. But I do remember 4th grade, we stopped class that day and they brought in the television, on those rolling carts, and we watched the ticker tape parade.
Yeah, I actually, since I got some years on you, I actually got to go to the ticker tape parade.
Oh man.
My friend and I actually, we were both in college and we both had tests that day. And we bumped into in the hall and we just looked at each other. I was like, I don't want to be here. I was like, I can always make this test up. And it's like, yeah, let's take off. And we took off and headed to the Canyon of Heroes, and we got to see all the Mets, everyone except, of course, Dwight Gooden.
Yeah, that's a shame.
That was a shame that what happened, that he wasn't
Should've
there.
been there.
But we got to see that, and I'll never forget that experience of being down there, wall to wall with Met fans and experiencing that. That was pretty awesome.
It had to be wild. Yeah, I know. I have a friend who actually said he was in the press box during Game 7. Well, maybe one day we'll talk to him because he's got some stories.
Yeah, that's actually
yeah.
a friend of mine went on the field when the Mets clinched the division that year.
Yeah.
And pulled out a chunk of grass.
Oh, sure.
And gave it to me. That was from Shea Stadium, but it didn't take. It kind of just died. I was like, otherwise it could have spread out in my backyard.
There you go.
It would have been like Shea Stadium said. It would have
It's
been
a thought
cool.
that counts. But I have a confession too. I actually did go to Yankee Stadium before I started going to Shea. It was July, around the 4th of July of 86, believe it or not. And it was against the Orioles, and we were way up in the top. And I, like you, I didn't feel, it was nice to be there, but I didn't feel at home there.
Right.
Shea felt like home. My brother puked at Shea Stadium. He was
Really?
He ate something, and so he christened it.
But you sure it wasn't a bad pitched game, was it?
No, it was actually, you know what it was?
What was it?
This was the very first Sunday night game in Shea Stadium history. Dwight Gooden pitched. It was against the Cardinals. We won 6-0.
Okay.
I believe Mackie Sasser hit like a 3-run homer, or maybe a grand slam or something like that.
Right.
It was the first Sunday night game at Shea. I think ESPN was doing it. But yeah, but again, it wasn't really till 1988 where I was listening to WWR, Ralph Kiner, Tim McCarver, Steve Zabriskie, all those guys. And the heartbreak against the Dodgers. That's when I really realized, we're not,
we're not invincible.
We're not always, winning is not always guaranteed with us.
Exactly. Well, that brings me to an important point, because we're both Met fans, and because we're Met fans, we're not fans of the Yankees. But it's not jealousy or anything like that.
No.
I mean, as far as like Yankee fans, hey, the way I look at it, you should be proud of your organization. You won a lot of championships. If that was me, I'd be happy. The problem we have with a majority of Yankee fans, not all, because we both have Yankee fans.
There's good and bad everywhere.
Yeah, same thing with certain Met fans too, same thing. But the problem I always had was the ones that I've encountered always seemed that they didn't want to talk about any other team but the Yankees. Like no one else counted. Everybody was beneath them, and that a championship was their birthright.
Yeah, inevitable, right?
That it was like it belongs to them, and I'm like, yeah, no, it doesn't. Your name is not carved in prior to the season. You got to win it.
Yeah.
So I think that's the issue that we have, and I think now with Steve Cohen having a team, I think we need to turn this around.
Oh yeah.
I don't like that whole mentality of being the little brother. I don't know where that started.
Yeah,
I never looked at it that way. I never looked at that way at all.
No.
It's just a matter of our own identity, our own history. We have a great history. We've had some great highs and a lot of lows, and I got to say, it kind of made us tougher in a way.
I know. And if you remember when Steve Cohen introduced himself and Sandy and all were there, they both actually said something that I agree with. They were like, we're a storied franchise. We may not have won like the Yankees, but we have a history that we can be proud of still.
Absolutely.
We're not all, we're not all the laughing stock. We
Yeah.
have some good
Yeah.
things about us.
Yeah. And I think they've done a lot of good this year to start to change that
The culture.
perception of what we are. No more LOL Mets and all that garbage that we cannot stand.
No,
And we just want to put it out there like, hey, let's start a new way,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mentioned it to you that I was never a fan of you gotta believe.
Yeah.
I
don't mind it.
yeah, that you're reminded. I was always like, make us believe.
Make me believe. Yeah.
They make me believe as opposed to just hoping upon hope. It's like, no, make us believe. And I think as we speak to today, they're making us believe.
They're making us believe. And I will say the 2 world championships that we do have, and even the 73 team, those are reasons to believe. As far as it always seems like the unusual happens with us. There's always a story that goes with how we do things.
Yeah.
And it never fails. Like in 69, no one expected them to do that. And the Orioles were the heavy favorites.
Yeah.
73, we barely win the division.
Yeah.
And we get to game 7. Right.
I think in many ways, the 73 team is even more amazing considering what they did. Yeah. However, I still have a little, it sticks in my craw a little bit. Yogi Berra.
I know what I don't remember that, but I know you tell me
it's like, it was before, but looking at film and then reading stuff on it about, not having Seaver for game 7 and just,
I know.
it just kind of like who's to say? I mean, Oakland might have beaten us anyway, but you got to go with your best. And
you got to go with the next game.
You have to go with them,
And you have to remember, I know the Orioles were a dynasty at the time we faced them, and then the A's were a dynasty.
Right.
Then,
so,
of course, 86, that, of course, game 6, the whole folklore with how that whole, not even just the World Series, the Astros series.
Right.
Because if we lost game 6, we had to face Mike Scott in game 7.
Yep.
Who knows how that would have went.
Yeah.
And then, of course, and it's funny. I'm going to tell the next World Series, of course, we did was 2000 with the Yankees. And I think you and I are on the same page. The Yankees are doing great. We're doing great. It looks right now like it's going to be a Subway Series. And people don't want to believe it when I say it's not that I'm worried about the Yankees, because I would love the challenge, but I'm not welcoming a Subway Series.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. It's like, I don't fear them. I think even when we weren't that good, we've matched up with them in Subway Series. It raises
them,
everybody.
You lost to the best. I mean,
right? Like they have risen to the occasion. So have we.
Yeah.
And last year we weren't nearly as good as this year, and we took it to them. Yeah. We took it to them.
Yeah.
Who knows what's going to happen this year? We don't know until we match up again. But I'm with you. I'm not like some people who just want that. I want to play them in the World Series. I'm like, my take is totally different. My take is, I like to have the attention solely on the Mets.
It's our time.
I feel like if we let's say we end up in the World Series together, I don't think there's a win-win for us. I think if we win the World Series, you're going to hear Yankee fans or Yankee diehard media, and well, the Yankees got 27, and this is only the 3rd one for the Mets.
So,
okay. Or if they win, well, what do you expect? They've gotten 27, and the Mets are still the little brother in this. So I don't feel like if we win, it's not all about us. If we lose, it's not about us. So I don't see there's like something that I really want to look forward to.
And there's something you haven't mentioned yet that's going to be the big elf in the room. If we both make the World Series, our manager, Buck, who we love,
right,
has been on both sides. And they're going to make the media is going to make a big stink. Oh, this is Buck's chance to get revenge. Right. And Buck doesn't want to hear that. We don't want to hear that. We just want to win. It's like, stop making a story out of nothing. Yes, I get it, but it's like, just, it won't be about, to me, it wouldn't be about baseball. It would be about other things.
But, and the other thing that I was thinking about is just, how I am with the national coverage. of the
Right.
Mets. I find it very hard, and I'm sure a lot of Met fans are out there that find the same thing. Very hard to listen to the games
I can't.
when it's not um,
Our guys.
Keith, Gary, and Ron calling it, because we got the best three guys in the booth.
We got the best in the radio and TV. We got both.
Exactly. Howie Rose, you can't, I mean, I love it. And
You know, Lee Mazzilli's with Howie Rose this weekend.
I heard it today when I was
It's actually
traveling
pretty
on my own.
interesting. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah.
But you know, we got the best three guys, and they show excitement for our team. But there's been other times where they call it down the middle when they see
They're very
something
fair.
where we got a break and the other team.
They did it
you know,
today.
Yeah, they're like, they don't just, oh, great for the Mets and too bad for you, or
They're not that
well, I think you've heard this too when we've listened to other broadcasts, and we have other broadcasters, and I've heard it like not only cheering for the team but wishing bad stuff on our team. I've actually heard announcers from the Atlanta
Feels like that
Braves
for
back
sure.
in the day, Miami Marlins, hoping when a guy came out of injury that the guy would get hurt again. I've never
terrible.
understood that.
You
And
shouldn't
I've
wish
never
injury on
heard-
anybody.
Yeah, I never heard our Met announcers ever say anything.
No, that I would never
No.
wish. Yeah, no. Why would? Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I
right.
never forgot that with Atlanta Braves with the who was their which carry was the
Skip.
Okay, I remember when they were on TBS and the games would come on, and it was at Shea Stadium at the time, and him coming on and saying, "Oh, here we are at Shea Stadium, appropriately named because it's in Flushing,
It's a
and it's
toilet.
a
Yeah.
bunch of garbage the city is." And I couldn't believe I was
Yeah.
like, "This is a professional
No,
calling it like that," you know?
it's true.
So-
Yeah, we were never like that. Even Keith, when he gets a little, off kilter with his humor, we've never come off as like ill will.
Right,
There's no malice
Right.
in our joking.
right,
But like even today, like one thing like for example, Keith, he wants the Mets to win, but what does he love most? Good fundies.
yes.
He doesn't like when the other team has bad fundies. I think partially
Right.
because that's how he is. Number two, it's
Right.
because he doesn't want them to give it to us. He wants us to earn it.
Yeah,
Then
it's
he,
like,
oh, what a bad! You hear him go, oh, what?
yeah, I was
It
like-
aggravates him.
it's like
So funny.
Keith is such a baseball genius. I love
Oh,
listening
his
to him.
IQ's off and Buck, like their IQs are off the chart. That's why
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was saying I could not believe that story. Speaking of spring training, I couldn't believe the story of how Keith was not allowed near the batting cage all those years.
That's ridiculous.
Like you're missing out on so much knowledge. I know maybe you feel
Yeah.
threatened by him because of what
Yeah.
he knows, but it's like, why would you do that?
And the thing is, sometimes it just takes a little bit of knowledge to put you over the hump.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had so much to bestow
And
on the
okay,
players.
maybe he's going to
and
give you
coaches.
tough love, but at least he's giving you good. I mean, just
Right.
yeah. No, you're right.
You know, it's like, but hey, that's the story we've followed being Met fans, that so many times we were so close that whether we needed to spend a little bit more money to get that extra reliever, one more hitter, and the
Yep.
previous ownership wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't do
Too
it.
much money. It was like, well, this guy at that time was like, this guy costs 5 million. This guy costs 100,000, and we'll be praying that the $100,000 guy could perform at the 5 million.
It's
Instead
lightning
of
in the
getting
bottle.
$5 million, and it would always fall flat.
Yep.
Always, without
Right.
fail, every single year. Now, let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting next few weeks as we start hearing some more names. I hope the Mets make a preemptive move.
As we get closer to the deadline.
Yeah, I don't want to get like 2 or 3 moves at the deadline where we're waiting at midnight if we're going to get something.
No, I don't
wanna
think we will.
Yeah, I want to
Now
get
with this
something
McGill
that-
injury, we're
Yeah.
not going to see McGill for 2 months.
Right. Well, we could look at it this way, where he could become the long man out
Yeah.
of the bullpen. He can actually do that in the bullpen, and setting up for potentially everything going
When
well
he comes
going
back,
into
yeah.
the playoffs. So we get another starter,
Get another starter.
Yeah. And like we talked before, that how everything we want to tell everybody what we're going to be talking about, whether it's we're going to be talking about the games, of course, players on the team,
Current state of the
players,
team.
current state of team. We're going to be talking about funny stories that we have in spring training, and we have a lot.
We got to talk a little bit about that too today.
Yeah, we had a lot of funny stories of autograph seeking and funny player reactions.
Yeah.
And of course, we have trivia and bringing up the names of some players that have been long
Jersey
forgotten.
numbers. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Stuff that people don't really talk about.
Right. And then minors, of course, and we follow that too, and how some of these players may or may not fit in the future, and some of the current players, and how the Mets might work their roster, and all the rumors that come up. We're all on it.
Yeah,
and
we are.
Shout out to some of the ones that we also follow.
Yeah,
like
we
Wardy.
need to. Yes.
Yeah, Wardy is
Wardy's one of them. Locked on.
Locked on.
We gotta believe.
Yeah.
Shea Station with Jerry Blevins and
Yeah,
Charlie Olive.
I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that one too.
But
all those guys kind of like they inspired us.
They did.
They
do such a good job.
Excellent.
They're very professional, and but they make you feel like they're part of your family. Like you listen to them, and they without a doubt. But it's funny.
It's like that's what we want to do. Just take another spin.
Right.
That they're not be redundant. We have our own take on.
Right. We don't want to. Right. We're not going to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah. We will talk about potential trades, but no clickbait. No.
I don't believe in that clickbait.
No one-sided trades.
No.
We'll discuss trades more on players that we covet and what they may or may not be looking for the other team to make a deal, and what
the most logical choices,
logical stuff that we can afford to give up.
Not pipe dreams.
Exactly. We're not going to get Juan Soto for Louis Guillaume.
We're not. I like Louis though. I want Louis to be a secret weapon for years to come.
I think he is a secret weapon. The guy
is.
That guy's
He's one of those folk heroes I was telling you about.
Exactly. And you only every World Series that we've seen, it's always those lesser known guys that rise to the occasion.
Yeah.
And now, hey, we're watching the seasons. Like, which one of these guys got ice water in their veins? And rise to it. And we've been seeing a trend.
Yes, we have.
Certain guys who do rise, and this team.
I mean, like yesterday, I know he was a little shaky yesterday, but Medina, we'll never forget what he did.
Never forget that. No matter what that happens in this guy's career, whether that was his highlight, we'll never forget that game.
No, that felt like a playoff game.
It really
did.
It really did.
Oh my God.
So now it's like, hey, we're cheering the Mets and hoping that, like we both said, one more hitter, one or two more really good pitchers, like one late, one I think one multi-inning reliever.
Yep.
And one kind of high leverage reliever, and one more big stick in that lineup. At least for this year, doesn't have to be for the next few years, because we got some coming. But
and it's funny you mentioned the guys we have now. One guy that's been an amazingly pleasant surprise, which turned out to be, at the beginning we thought he was a throw-in, but Trevor Williams.
Yeah.
Where would we be without him?
Yeah.
Think of what even the other night he saved the bullpen.
Yeah. But I think it's like what we notice is some of these guys, for the most part, we've seen Showalter has a good idea of when to use them. For the most part, there's been a couple of situations where we're like, I'm not, sure, but nobody's perfect. And for the most part, he has done what we used to always complain about other managers, like leaving in people way too long, getting that hook when you can tell that they don't have it, and since we know this team can come back, always just having that in their forefront of their mind, like, just keep us in the game. Because anything can happen with this team. Just keep us in the game.
Showalter's had two memorable moments this week with the bullpen.
Yeah.
With pitching. First one, when what's his name hit the foul ball, and he's like, I don't like how this is going.
Yep.
You're out.
Yep.
And then the other night with Diaz, when what's his name came up to bat. Who was that? Who did we play before? We played
we just the Brewers.
the Brewers, right? And it was
Right.
what's his name? It was one of their better hitters came up. Oh, it was Yelich.
Yeah.
He went to Diaz.
Okay.
What do you want to do? Before he could even get it. Okay, you want to go
I
after him?
want him.
Come on.
That's it. Yeah. And that's and stuff like that. That gives him much respect. Not that he didn't already have it, but much respect among these players. It was like, hey, I want this guy.
Yeah.
It was like, okay. And especially if it's one thing if a guy's on his game because I want him, I said, you got to go with him.
Yeah.
You got to go with him. But as opposed to someone that like, we're looking at the eye test. I'm like, okay, everybody's hitting the ball hard off of this guy. And the guy just almost hit a home run. And it's like, okay, time to come out.
Yeah,
like,
you won't see that.
You're like one bad pitch from screwing this game up. You're out.
You don't see that, right?
You
don't see that too often.
Yeah. But I think if we just had, one or two more weapons in that bullpen for this season, especially I've been looking at certain hitters and certain pitchers that we talked about, which we'll talk about in a future YouTube video, that pitches that are hard to hit, but controllable.
Right.
We have some guys who have, funky stuff, but they tend to be a little wild.
Yeah.
Like Ottavino has that incredible slider, but, most of the time it isn't a strike.
Right.
And
You're
sometimes
right.
sometimes when he does get a strike, it's because it moved in the wrong direction. Or
right. When he came up big yesterday. Yeah.
Like he didn't hit a spot, but he got a strike,
Yeah.
But, somebody who has, similar movement, but that ball is a strike, even if you don't swing, as opposed to, seeing these hitters, like as soon as it's out of his hands, they don't even swing because they know it's not even.
It's not going in. No, you're
exactly.
right.
That pitchers like that, because pitchers like that, I will feel confident in any lineup.
Yeah, right.
Any lineup,
Yeah.
Those are, that's the kind of team you just want to put together and just like we said, keep our fingers crossed, that we can see this again. Been a long time since '86.
It has been.
There'll
never be another 86 team, but because we're in a different era now, but this team has a lot of that. I mean, again, I don't really fully recall that year, but from what I've seen and read,
right,
this team could totally have that because they're in every game. They're in every game, and they're not making excuses for the hand they're dealt. Like Buck said, we're not going to do woe is me. Feel sorry for us.
Right.
We're going to do our thing. By the way, because I'm looking at the time here on the thing, let's talk a little bit about 2002 when we first met.
Okay.
How hopeful we were, because remember, we had the World Series in 2000.
Right.
We weren't as good in 01, and I think it's because there were certain players we should have gotten that we didn't get. But then we made that little run at the end, but of course the Braves slammed the door on us again. But then we got Roberto Alomar, we got Mo Vaughn, Jeremy Burnett, Pedro Estacio, and we're thinking, oh wow, we're trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
Nope.
I wish I would have known the story about how we got Mo Vaughn.
That was terrible.
We got him as opposed to like a couple of years later.
Yeah.
He looked good against 70-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, no, that was wrong. He was just going. It's like he was just going for the name.
Yeah, I was like, I'll look good against 70-mile-an-hour fastballs.
You can't do that.
That'll make me a major leaguer.
No,
that was I never heard of
that. Was a bad. Yeah, I don't think it was until the next year when we got Cliff Floyd, even Tom Glad, like we started building into that 2006 team.
Right.
That 2002 team. I mean, I guess we kind of knew they were going to be a disappointment.
Right.
And then I know that was the last year that Bobby managed, and then but that was just
it's funny because it's like a lot of times it's like they did get names, but I guess
they're on the downhill.
They're on the downhill. I think if all the analytics that are on the game now was then, I wonder if they would have gone against it. I don't know. Because we did so many dumb stuff. Like I never forget Vladimir Guerrero being able, we were gonna trade for him, but we were scared of his back, and then he played another 4 years after that.
And he's a Hall of Famer.
And a Hall of Famer. I was like, yeah, that would.
I will say, I don't think anyone expected Alomar to go down as fast as he did.
That was unexpected.
We thought it would be more gradual.
Yeah, I was super excited when we got that. That was such a shock.
Yeah, that was
not as big of a shock as when Piazza came in, and I got a whole story on Piazza.
Yeah, we got to share that one day.
I will share it one day about
that.
We'll
tell you the two players I remember us getting, well, two of them anyway. I know there's more, but that we got towards the twilight of their career that were really successful, I think, was Rickey Henderson. He did great for us the year he was there. And even Julio Franco, he contributed. Yeah. But that's rare. You don't get that a lot.
And it's like Rickey knows Rickey's great.
Rickey knows Rickey. But that's why, because he believes it. It's mental. It's like
oh God, that guy was a trip, man.
But I just remember spring training 2002, where on paper we're like, oh, we got all these names, but we should have known better.
Yeah, that'll be fun when we reminisce about the funny stories that we've seen since we've been running spring training. That they were really interesting with the players. I'll share one little thing.
Sure.
Little tip that I got from the players when they have a bunch of us fans waiting to get an autograph, and they take out that cell phone and have that make-believe conversation.
Oh,
I was like,
of course, I'll be there.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, honey.
It's like, I'm on the phone. I can't sign right now. I'm just like that.
That was hysterical.
I kind of use that from time to time when you get stuck with somebody like trying to pull you over. It's like, oh, donate money or give something. And you're like,
we do it too. I
mean, but I got it from them. I never did it before until then. I was like, I'm gonna pull that.
That was hysterical.
The first person that I see do that was Jeremy Burnitz.
Right.
And ever since I saw that, I never forget that.
And if I'm in his shoes, I could see, but it was just so funny to watch it on the outside.
It really was. Yeah.
It was so funny.
Yeah.
And don't forget, he started in our system.
Yes, he did.
He was original, and then he went to the Brewers, and then.
So tomorrow we are going for. Is it 3 game or 4 game?
It's 4 games. So we're going for the series.
Okay.
Facing their ace, Sandy Alcantara.
Right.
And we have who do we have? I think Bassett.
Okay.
That's going to be a good matchup.
Okay. It is Bassett. Is that Peterson?
Bassett's first.
Okay.
Yeah, Bassett and Peterson would be next.
Okay.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do.
I remember like when there was good pitches going, like you didn't want to, but now you're like, hey, we're going to be seeing that. Going forward, you're seeing the best of the best. So might as well do it now and see where you are. And,
well, that's how I feel.
Yeah, and just play sport ball.
And that's what we're doing.
Yeah. It's just like you can't come out of that what's worked.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's play those small ball, move the runners along, chip away guys.
We're like the best we're the best at that of any of the teams.
We got them in the ropes, put them away.
Yep.
It
was good to see Lindor at that home run again, and
that was nice.
Add to the lead. So
they should have his mom sitting in the dugout for the rest of the season. That's
I know.
What do I know? It's
the dugout. I don't care.
Yeah, put her in the dugout. I was like,
give her a uniform.
Give him that extra adrenaline. That was pretty cool to see.
I love that. It's so again, it reminds us we're all human.
Yep.
You can't. We're not robots. They're not. They're human.
Yeah.
And there's a lot more going on than we realize.
Yeah, because we know it's like, hey, it ain't easy to hit 100-mile-an-hour fastball that moves or an exploding slider. It ain't easy to do that.
Nope.
So it's like give mad props to these players to be able to do what they do. Yeah. And get the money that they get.
That's why I never I'm not one of those fans that throws their money in their face, because we don't.
Right.
I mean, regardless of how much they're making, they want to perform even more so.
Yeah.
Plus, when you mention money, it sounds like that's your issue.
Right.
They're Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what they make.
Yeah, it's like nobody should, you know,
Don't be a
upset about
hater.
these play. Yeah, these players making their money. Hey, you know, you would love to be in their position to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, and they ain't no easy day at the,
No.
you know, no easy day at the park, really.
Like any
And
job,
you got to do
right?
that. You know, it's
ridiculous.
like you
Look
got
at what they
to,
have to put themselves through to get where they
Yeah.
are. I mean,
yeah.
but I'm looking at the thing and I got to get I guess I got to get pro now.
Okay.
But,
All right.
So we're getting the one. But listen, thank you for this first video, right? Looking
Yeah,
forward to more
absolutely.
making more videos here.
Yeah. So everybody, please subscribe.
Yes, please like
we
and
can-
subscribe, and we're going to be
Yes.
sharing a lot more Mets minutia as we go.
Yep, and more talk about the current Mets and Met minors and everything
All
related
that.
to the Mets.
Yep.
All
And
right.
On 3, ready? Let's go Mets. 1, 2, 3. Let's
go
go
Mets.
Mets. Bye.
All right. See ya.